Hi, this is Rick Coste, and today on The Joy of Vinyl, we are going to ask the age-old question, why vinyl? My father-in-law recently asked me this question. He said, why vinyl? Now, he knows of my aversion to old technologies. I'm all about the new digital tech and what it can ultimately do to improve our lives. I constantly upgrade the Wi-Fi, my laptop, and even our TVs. What you won't find in our house is a VCR, a CD player, or even a DVD player. The conversation which led to his question started when he offered to lend us a movie on videocassette. My wife kind of laughed and said, Rick got rid of our VCR a long time ago. Now, just a few minutes later, I pulled out my iPad to show everyone a new tube amp I wanted to add to my audio setup. My father-in-law looked confused. He said, if you're opposed to old technology like VCRs and all, why vinyl? That's way older. Well, it's a good question. Why vinyl? I had to think about that. There's a lot more subjectivity to it than actual hard facts. There's also quite a bit of aesthetics. So I'll start with the aesthetics. A vinyl record is an art form. Now, I've never lost the excitement of admiring the artwork of an album cover. If the inner sleeves include the lyrics, well, all the better. Good artwork can sell an album. Great artwork will add a dash of emotion. I still remember how I felt when I first brought home Blue Oyster Cult's Some Enchanted Evening. That cover depicted death on the back of a horse. I thought it was pretty cool. The same goes for Elvis's In Person at the International Hotel, which I received for Christmas in 1977. And that record kicked off my collecting obsession. Now, that obsession has never been duplicated. Not with 8-tracks, not with cassettes, which I despised, and not with CDs or even streaming. With the purchase of an album comes a collection of art you can see, hear, and feel. So this leads me to, a vinyl record is also tactile. Not only can you hold the cover or inner sleeve in your hand while you listen, but there's the media itself. I love the fact that I can hold a masterpiece like the Who's Next in my hand. I actually own that piece of music. On top of that, it's still somewhat of a mystery to me how a flattened piece of PVC can contain and transmit the opening chords of Behind Blue Eyes, or the keyboard intro to Won't Get Fooled Again. I know intellectually how it all works, but it still feels like audio alchemy. The other thing is, say a sunburst were to disrupt the electrical grid the whole world over and wipe out our digital lives. Everything's gone. A Spotify, or Amazon Music, or Apple Music playlist will disappear. There's nothing to show for it. It will take a small bit of engineering, but we would still be able to enjoy a vinyl record. Centuries from now, an alien race may get to know us through our old vinyl records. They'll learn how we thought, how we loved, lost, and what our dreams were. Our intentions will be revealed. Intentions. Now, there's a good word. Listening to a vinyl record is intentional. How many times have you sat down and listened to an entire album from your favorite artist on Spotify? I'm certainly not saying you have never done that, but more often than not, it's a playlist or an individual song that draws you to that streaming service. Not to mention the abundance of availability of other songs and other things to listen to. Another draw is you can take it with you. All you need is a pair of earbuds, and you can listen while you do the dishes, while you exercise, mow the lawn, drive to work, or do your homework. So what happens then? Your attention will wander. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You're intent on something else. Add to it the convenience factor. All that music is only a scroll and a tap away. Not so with vinyl. When I want to listen to Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, it's a process. It involves getting up, looking for the record, pulling it out, carefully sliding it out of its protective plastic sleeve, setting it gently on the turntable's platter, turning the turntable on, and running an anti-static brush briefly over its surface as it spins. And then I gingerly lower the stylus onto the edge. Now, compare everything I just said to tapping and scrolling on a screen. You might think, why bother? I mean, that sounds like a lot of work. Well, it is, but it's worth it. To set aside an hour or two each day to perform this same ritual means I'm engaged in the process of listening. In 4 to 6 songs, I know I'll need to get up, turn the record over, and repeat the last couple steps of the process. So you might shrug and say, yeah, but still, it's not like it sounds better. I can hear an occasional pop or background hiss. Well, life isn't perfect, and you don't need me to tell you that. There are bills to pay, deadlines to meet, unexpected auto repairs to worry about, school functions, sporting events, daycare woes. The list is endless. Life is full of background noise. That noise is the static of our lives. It changes with the environment. The noise in my backyard will be different from, say, downtown Tokyo or at the top of a ski slope in Colorado. Imperfection is the spice of life. And there's also warmth. The cool, clean, recycled air of a modern shopping mall is nothing compared to a deep breath of fresh air while standing in, say, the middle of a field or an apple orchard. The pollen might bring on a flurry of sneezes, but it's all part of the experience and the joy of that experience. Now, it's not so different from the slight static of dust I hear when I first drop the needle on the Distiller's Coral Fang album. I know that within a few seconds, the barely audible hiss will disappear when Brody Dahl's voice and her guitar burst through the speakers. That's why vinyl.